At some point, every streamer has dealt with it. Pixelated, blurry, grainy, low-quality streams that just look unpleasant to watch. If you're not a tech wizard, it can be extremely frustrating to try and fix these types of issues, especially when you look at OBS and it looks okay, but then you load up your Twitch page and bam, it's unwatchable. But today, in this big bad video, I'm going to show you some ways to fix these types of problems and make your streams look as sharp as some of the top streamers on the platform with just a few simple OBS changes. Let's get started. Firstly, let's talk about the pixelation, or the blurriness you might see on your stream. It could happen only when you're moving around or panning the camera really fast, or it could be a consistent issue. Now, I'll be honest, I struggle with this issue myself. Some of my earliest streams, especially my Skyrim ones, suffered from really poor visuals and these weird artifacts, especially when moving the camera fast or entering forest areas of the game. Now, the issue that I was experiencing and the issue you're likely facing is directly related to your bitrate. Now, when you stream to YouTube or Twitch, your bitrate is what dictates how much data you are sending to their servers. In essence, the higher your bitrate, the nicer the stream will look. The lower the bitrate, the worse your stream could look. In OBS, the data that you're transmitting is measured in kilobits per second. And if the value you enter is too low, this can result in the blurriness or the pixelation that you see in your streams. That's why on your OBS preview window, it looks perfectly fine, but when you go to Twitch, you see the issue. It's because you're transmitting that data. It's the bitrate. Now, here you can see what this stream of Fortnite looks like at just 1,000 kilobytes per second. Now, at 1080p, 60 FPS, this stream is basically unwatchable to me. You can barely make out anything as I run around and blow up some cars, and it just doesn't look good. However, you'll notice that if I stand still in a pretty calm environment, the visuals improve slightly. This is because when there's nothing happening on screen, your encoder doesn't need to transmit extra data. It can simply tell Twitch to hold on to the current frame it has and just make tiny tweaks if necessary. That's what the keyframe setting in OBS relates to. Every time a keyframe occurs, regardless of on-screen content, the encoder will generate a brand new frame to send to Twitch. This is to prevent smearing and the guessing game algorithm garbage that can occur if you don't properly reset every once in a while. You can even see the keyframes popping up in this example. So in OBS, if I raise my bitrate by entering the output settings menu, you can see a significant improvement in the quality of the stream. And when I run around, no more pixelation, or at least significantly reduced pixelation. So great, problem solved. We should all just crank our bitrate up to 1,000,000 and just have crystal clear streams, right? Well, no, and it's for a couple of reasons. Firstly, you need to take your network's upload speeds into consideration. If your upload speed is too low, and you set your bitrate way too high, this can cause a lot of issues that are annoying for your viewers, like stuttering, dropped frames, or complete disconnections. Additionally, Twitch and YouTube actually have caps for how high you can set your bitrate in OBS. For non-partners on Twitch, this value is kind of low at 6,000 kilobytes per second, and while you can technically go past this value, it's really not recommended unless you're a partner, and it can cause some issues for you in the long run. For YouTube, however, the bitrate limit is much, much higher, at a staggering 51,000 kilobytes per second. Now, if you want to make sure that the bitrate you set is perfect for you, you're going to need to determine your network speed. Now, there are many websites for determining this. You can use speed test. .net. That's typically the simplest one, but there are many other options out there. On my network, my upload speed tops out at about about 20 megabytes per second. Next up, there are many other options out there. On my network, my upload speed tops out at about 20 megabytes per second. Next up, check what your streaming platform recommends you use for your encoder settings. Now, I typically stream on Twitch, which, by the way, if you'd like to watch me live on Twitch, you can check out my Twitch channel, TechnoBeaver, link in the description. Now, Twitch recommends that if you're going to be streaming at 1080p 60 FPS, that you use a bitrate of 6,000. Now, since I know my network can handle that, and I have so much headroom for, Discord and the game to actually operate, I should have no problem. I'll set my bitrate to that, I'll leave my rate control at constant, and I should be all set. Now, I've left resources in the description below that you can check out to see what YouTube and Twitch recommend for your encoding settings for specifically what resolution and frame rate you're targeting. Now, if your network upload speeds aren't high enough for the bitrate, resolution, and frame rate that you're targeting, you're going to need to drop your settings, especially if you want to maintain a solid connection that won't result in dropped frames or disconnects. Again, refer to the provided documentation in the description below. You can additionally help yourself by keeping your stream.
In this video, I'll walk you through some high-level information about what an encoder is, some use cases for using it to live stream, and some basics on how to set one up. Streaming with an encoder is a great option for more highly produced live streams that require a more polished experience for viewers. Okay, so what is an encoder? An encoder bridges the gap between your video content and YouTube. Essentially, an encoder converts your video content into a compressed format that can be sent to YouTube for playback on your channel. Some encoders are software applications on your computer, while others are standalone hardware. Note that although some components are standard, each encoder is slightly different and has different capabilities. For a list of YouTube verified encoders, be sure to check out this Help Center article linked in the description below. An encoder requires more equipment and setup than mobile or webcam streaming. So why would you use it? Well, an encoder lets you share your screen and broadcast your gameplay, use external cameras and microphones, use multiple audio tracks, or add special effects on screen, like using third-party tools and integrations to create on-screen pop-ups, stream with multiple remote participants, for example by using screen sharing software, and manage an advanced production with multiple cameras, video inputs, microphones, and media assets. Again, remember that each encoder has different capabilities and will require different setup. But now that you have a sense of what encoders let you do and you've checked out the list of verified ones you can choose from in our Help Center, here are some basics that apply to most encoders that'll help you set up the content that feed into yours. Some encoders let you set up scenes, layouts, or shots. Think of these as template arrangements for your content. Scene layouts and shots allow you to change the layout of your camera, screen capture, and other assets that you'd like to display on screen. They're made up of one or more media assets. Next step is to add sources. Any content you choose to display to your viewers would be your webcam, your screen plus symbol to add your new source. Once audio is added, most using a gameplay testing will help you make sure that the audio media asset sources to make sure your audio adjust them by dragging them on the everything out. Looks the viewer capable of that you'll come to and give you an overview